What's crackalackin', everybody? Money Smart Guy Matt Sapaula here, hailing to you from Dallas, Texas. Another episode of the Seven Figure Squad podcast. Here, episode 4, 5. In studio with me today is my trainer, my co-host here, Milton Alvarez. What's going on, killer?
Amazing Wednesday, brother.
So we also have a very special guest in studio today, all the way from
Minnesota.
Would you care to introduce her?
Yeah, so we have Jill Christine in the house. And for a lot of the ladies watching, and I'm sure there's a lot of ladies watching today because she's on here, she's been in the fitness industry for 7 years now, and she's been leading the way for a lot of women, making an impact amongst a lot of women, and helping women change their mindsets when it comes down to their health and helping them create enjoyable and sustainable lifestyles. And you know, you've made an impact this far in the last 7 years that you've been online and you've been, you know, in the movement and helping women become better versions of themselves. But from the looks of it, there's still a lot more to go for you.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's always an ever-evolving journey, and you're always a student of life. If you're not learning, then there is going to be no growth in the future. And it's just crazy to me that what started out with as just being 19 years old and losing 50 pounds and discovering this all myself.
50 pounds.
Yeah, I lost 50 pounds when I was 19, and
Holy
I had
moly.
no idea what I was doing. There was no internet.
It's like I couldn't imagine you had 200-some pounds.
Yeah, no, and I don't even know my highest weight because I gained even more weight before.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even a college like freshman 15 thing. I always was like a little bit on the heavier side growing up. And so that was my whole childhood. And then my dad had done a bodybuilding competition when I was younger. And my parents were athletes, so I went to the gym with them, and I was like, wanted a lifestyle change.
Wow.
Lost 50 pounds and was kind of a cardio bunny for a bit, but I dabbled into the weight room and just continued to sustain it over time. There's been lots of ups and downs, and now I can't even believe it's a career now. It's a dream, but I'm so passionate about it.
Very cool. So Jill's going to be with us here throughout the whole duration of the podcast. We're going to be talking about getting girls, Milton. The right ones.
The right ones.
The right ones.
The ones that are needed in your life.
We're going to be talking about the new movement to making $350,000. You won't believe what this movement is about, guys making $350,000 a year. This Gen Z is talking about working till we die. We got to work until we die. Stress and gut health. We're going to be talking about stress and gut health here with Jill. And this whole work from home movement is backfiring. The CEO Citadel is talking about the benefits or the lack of benefits of those working from home. And also, we're going to give you an update on the upending of realtors due to class action lawsuit we brought up a couple weeks ago. And I want to bring up this first video here about this Gen Z, this young lady here. Jill, I love your opinion on it because she's talking about what? We got to do all this. We got to work until we die. Everything we got to do, we got to work. Can't we just have a good life? Jordan, let's take a look at this clip.
Work until we have to die just for the privilege of being alive.
Anybody you know, by the way?
Like, we never asked to be born, but now we're obligated to do labor until we die. We have to work somewhere just to afford a house that we're never at because we're working to afford the house. Is the meaning of life to work and pay taxes and then die? On top of that, we also have to work to afford our vehicle to get to work in other places and afford gas just to get to work. And we also have to pay taxes for our roads to drive on to get to work. With the privilege of food, which we should just be able to have, pretty much just work and die. Let's not forget about life insurance just in case we almost die. And then we have to work for our children to go to school to learn how to work. So our children know how to work for their children so that their children can go to school and go to work.
Hey.
Somebody tell me that this is fair.
Well, let's tell her right.
Like, is it lazy to just want to enjoy life?
Yes.
Like, why do we have to work? Why?
Oh my
There it is.
gosh.
There it is. Well, that's welcome to your Gen Z.
Right.
There's enough for the. Usually, most older generations always cap on the younger generations, but they're just doing it all on their own.
Right.
You know. So let's give her a rude awakening to life. Number one, life ain't fair.
No.
Right. You got to work, right, Jill?
Yeah, absolutely. There's always going to be ebbs and flows of life, and it's not about having the perfect circumstances. It's about adjusting your sails to the wind. Yep. And if you can't accept that, I mean, probably not going to go too far in life.
And second thing is, life ain't going to give you what you deserve. Life will only give you what you are willing to fight and work and earn. And the third thing I have here on this reaction is everyone must work. It says right here in 2 Thessalonians 3:1. Even when we are with you, we gave you this rule: the one who's unwilling to work shall not eat. Proverbs 10:4. Lazy hands make for poverty, but diligent hands bring wealth. What's up, big dog? How come we just can't go to the gym, eat, improve our gut health, look good, and just have life that way?
I think just from the beginning of time, there's always been a responsibility on mankind, and I think when you have a stronger hold on the idea and the knowledge that we have a responsibility to, we were put into this world for a specific reason. No one here was born out of just inconvenience, or I think every single person that was born, whether the parents say it was a mistake or not, I think every single person here was born for a specific purpose, right? On a grander scale. And the moment that you take your first breath and you're here, you have a reason to exist. And I think because we live in this physical world and we're involved in the economy that we're involved in, and society that we're involved in, I think we all have a role to play to make this a better living place for ourselves. And I think for a man, we take pride in being able to leave behind a legacy with our last name on it, and make sure, and knowing that we left children behind that are going to lead future generations, knowing that whatever we instilled in them, the seeds that we instill in them, is what is leading their lives. And I think that's something that we take a massive amount of pride in, man.
I think this is an issue too. It's not necessarily her fault. Let me take it off her. Let's go back to the parents. So two things can happen also. You can either be rich when you were raised, or you can be poor when you're raised. I get that she was poor, but the thing is, she was shielded. So she may have been shielded from the realities of life, right?
Yeah.
You got to go to work. By the time you get your own job, you want to get your own apartment, you realize, damn, toothpaste. Remember getting your own toothpaste for the very first time?
Oh my gosh.
Toilet paper for the very first time?
I always had to work for things from the age of 16 on.
You were working, what was your first job?
15.
15?
15, before you're even legally allowed to have a job. I worked at a flower shop with my mom.
There you go. Remember your first job?
Joel asked, legal job or illegal job, meaning that I couldn't work.
On the books, bro. On the books. Nothing under the table.
13 years old, the typical Hispanic job, landscaping. And then at 15 years old, I got work permit and started working at Joel Osco, which
kidding.
Here it's Albertsons.
You know what I did?
Yes,
I was
Albertsons.
Albertsons, yeah, Jewel, right?
Yeah.
I was collecting newspapers and aluminum cans. I bring them to the junkyard.
Yeah,
and get
you
like
can
$10.
you can collect some money
Yeah.
off that, and especially like when you're younger, a little bit of money is actually a lot.
Somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. So everybody got to learn. I mean, this is this is a generation you got to work. And by the way, just because you are raising money doesn't mean things are going great either. One of the Johnsons, there's a movie out there on Netflix called The 1%. If you ever want to check it out,
1%.
Yeah, it was one of the Johnsons that the Johnson & Johnson family made because he needed something to do. And what he was doing in the whole Netflix series, he was just capping on rich people. He's like, listen, it's just so ridiculous to be rich, blah, blah, blah. Why do we wear white when we play croquet? And the family's like, well, is there any other color we wear when we play croquet? Like, excuse me, like, we didn't know, right? Yeah. You know, the croquet, the hammer and the thing to the little. And so the thing is, he had a quote that said, one of the worst things to ever have in life is inherited wealth, because it never makes you want to work for anything.
Yeah.
So if you had a choice, I'm going to ask the viewers, if you had the choice to be raised with money or to be raised without money, which would you prefer? I don't know, man.
Without.
I think anyone who has actually achieved something and worked for it, though, like that feeling that you get of knowing you worked for it, the accomplishment, the meaningfulness behind it. I don't know. That's what it's about.
Yeah.
You know?
The value behind earning something.
Yeah.
I don't care how many seminars you go to, how many books you read, how many workshops you attend, how many mentors you pay thousands of dollars just to teach you certain things that you just can't learn from them. You learn from your own experience. You learn from having to go through the trial. You learn from being hungry at a young age, experiencing homelessness, not being able to pay the bill, seeing both of your parents struggle financially. You learn a lot from that, and it forces you to grow up faster versus someone who was completely, sheltered, entitled, and who grew up in wealth. Yeah. And again, you see some of those people. You see the people who, and maybe this is a wrong stat, but you see people who were born with nothing and then grew into something. They have a different level of gratefulness towards life versus someone who was born into everything. Yeah. And even though they still have everything, they lack massive amount of direction in life, and they're just going through the motions.
It's what gives you purpose, right?
For sure. Yeah. Let's unpack this a little bit. Let's take a little bit more macro sense. Let's look at our country. Let's look at because there's a new book I'm reading. It's called Raising Trump, written by Trump's ex-wife, because she had to raise Eric and Ivanka and Trump Jr. So, which kids would you rather have? The Trump kids or the Biden kids?
The deep breath.
Because who is really more productive? Is it the Biden kids that are more productive or the Trump kids? Remove the fact that their dad is Donald Trump. What does Ivanka have? She's got major businesses going on. Or what did Eric Johnson? He's managing the family business. Donald Trump, he's doing the best he can. The Apprentice, all these different things that they're doing. What's Biden doing?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know.
The world's most famous crack addict that gets away with everything.
Yeah.
And so, and he's bilking American taxpayers with money stealing from other different countries because of using his father's political position. So when you're looking at children, by the way, this book I'm reading is Raising Trump. What type of kids do we want to raise? Because if we don't teach our kids, as a matter of fact, one of the segments of the book, she says, my husband and I, we flew first class. But the kids, they flew coach. You got to earn this.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just because you're first class, income earning parents, you're still riding coach. Which leads me to my next point. If you don't get serious with money, if you don't start planning ahead, if you don't understand the pain, the grind, being able to earn it, this is a reality too, because people today are living longer, and sadly, because of the ups and downs of the economy and inflation and healthcare costs, a lot of people are unretiring. Let's take a look at this one about this new Walmart greeter.
If I had planned harder when I was younger, and if things had went better, I wouldn't be going to work this morning. I'd be going fishing, or I'd be going hunting. I mean, that's in my mind a lot, and I blame myself for it.
We'll just go ahead and punch right in.
Tom Coomer is still working. He's 80 years old, a part-time greeter, 5
80 years old,
days a
man.
week at Walmart.
How long have you worked there?
5 days a week, it's not even
Going
part-time.
on 9 years.
9 years.
Since he was 71.
30.
Coomer is a kidder, but why he's still working is no joke.
When you got this job, you needed this job.
Yeah, you betcha I did. When you lose your retirement at a big place like McDonnell Douglas, you need a job.
In 1994, McDonnell Douglas closed its plant in nearby Tulsa. Coomer, a machinist, had worked there 29 years.
Imagine
And
that.
all of a sudden, a loudspeaker come on, and it said, "Attention, McDonnell Douglas will close in 60 days." And I mean, we stopped and looked at each other and thought, what in the world? To me, that was just like you'd walked up and slapped me in the face.
Because all your plans.
All my dreams was just then going out the door.
He was 56 years old and 1 year shy of a full pension.
1 year
Financially,
shy.
the
Sheesh.
Coomers have never recovered. Over the years, they burned through retirement savings, downsized their house and lifestyle, but still have a mortgage they can never pay off.
Imagine
And
that.
That's a lot more common than I think people
crazy,
realize too.
right?
A lot of people are going through stuff like that.
One of the viral videos we have on our podcast is a guy. He figures out that he's got no pension after 30 years. Got no pension. It was a yellow trucking
Yeah.
company because they went out of business.
After
and
9
he's just
years.
lighting everybody up. Don't mess with it. It's my money. Don't tell me to be calmed down. Right. So he was lit. Same thing happened to this guy 9 years ago, but we didn't hear about it. So on this podcast, we advocate a lot about entrepreneurship. We advocate a lot about taking personal control. Jill, what's your opinion on taking financial control of your financial position, being able to earn your own income, creating your own brand, doing your own hustle?
Well, I mean, essentially, you can't rely on the circumstances in life are always changing. You don't have control over where the economy is going to go. So being able to figure out, a route that you can feel safe and you can provide for yourself is so important. I was always raised to work hard. Like I said earlier, at 16, if I wanted to drive, I had to get a job so that I could pay for gas. And being able to be independent like that too is going to continue to give you more freedom in the future. But at the end of the day, you can't control what the economy is. The only thing you can control is how you go out there and work for it.
Yeah.
So it's important. It's important to be able to be financially stable when things are rocky with the economy. It's not easy though. I think you just have to keep showing up and continue to take responsibility, take accountability. I mean, think about how many people are buying Starbucks every
$7.
day,
$6,
every
$7.
day, every
Yeah.
other week, but then they're really stressed
Yeah.
about all these bills and stuff. But like sometimes it really takes taking a step back and
Yeah.
like checking your actual financial
Yeah.
spending too.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people maybe spend more
Yeah.
than they realize on things that they don't
So easy,
need.
right?
So easy.
Like Jill, like I tell people on their cell phones, how many apps on your cell phone is there to get your money?
oh, and then you don't are just
you-
reoccurring
right.
and you don't even know.
Right. And so then I flip it. How many apps on your phone are bringing you money?
Exactly.
Right. So this is disproportionate.
Mm-hmm.
What's your 2 cents on this, Milton?
Well, that touches home. Is one of the takeaways that I got from this video is one decision that you make in your life can drastically change the outcome of your life, and that's pretty straightforward, pretty obvious. My parents lost their home to foreclosure in 2013. Both of my parents in their countries, my dad being Ecuadorian and my mom being Mexican, they were both doing pretty well for themselves, and they made that one decision to come to the United States to look for a better opportunity. But unfortunately, because, and I say this very respectfully towards my parents, but there was some form of lack of ownership and also lack of direction, because there was no one there to really help them figure out what the next is. And because, on a financial level, there wasn't a lot of wisdom from one or the other end, it put us in a position where now, they're in their 50s, 60s, and they're facing foreclosure, having to move into their children's households, and me being in my late teens, having to figure things out on my own. But one of the things that I was never instilled with was knowing how to save, knowing how to utilize my money correctly, not thinking long term. I was very in the moment. You're gonna die one day. Think now. Work now. Use the money that you're working for at this very, very moment, and just being at a job, right, working 9 to 5, knowing that I'm gonna get a small percentage of an increase. That's not going to do anything for me, especially in the economy nowadays. But I had no type of understanding what finances are, and that's something like cooking up with Matt, learning on how to increase your income, knowing that to be able to invest in the long term, and knowing what right moves to make. When you look at the bigger picture, not just on the micro level, but on the actual macro level. And as you said, there's people right now in this world that are going through the exact same thing. I walk into Walmart all the time, and I still see that to this day.
Yeah, the greeters.
Yeah.
So here's what I take before we move on to the next topic. If you, for example, to contrast this between the Gen Z girls complaining about work till you die, right? Well, guess what this guy's doing?
Literally.
He's literally working till his day. So the sooner you get your financial literacy, you get your understanding about money, you get clear about that right away, the sooner the better, because you got to figure out what your outcome is. Patrick wrote a book, Your Next 5 Moves. Move number 1 is clarity. For example, you came all the way out here, thank you so much, from coming out from Minnesota.
Yeah.
Right? So you came out here to our studio in Dallas. And obviously you're going to ask us, what city are you in and what's your daggone address? So you know how to plan and how to get here, what time to get here. You got here yesterday, right? I appreciate you for coming yesterday, because there's always delays.
Late at night.
Right?
Yeah.
Because you knew the address. You got clear on what you need to do, and you look like a planner. Are you like an organized woman?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, you and my wife would get along. I'm not the planner.
I like control. But I'm learning to let go of that a little bit.
No, it's okay. It's your power spot.
It balances,
That's
right?
right. We need to
My
organize
husband's that way too. Just go with the flow, and I'm like, no, we need a plan.
Correct, yes. And so, number 1, you got to get clear about what your outcome is. And oftentimes, yesterday we had a workshop. I have a chiropractor. He's in my workshop. And what are you here for? He says, I want to learn how to make more money. Well, you're a doctor. You're a chiro. He says, listen, dude, I got 6 digits in student loan debt, and I make less than the average income in America, single person in America. Think about that. And he's got this $200,000, $100,000, $200,000 student loan debt. And so you got to get very clear. You got to think long term. And here's the thing with this guy. Here's his reality. He ran out of money at 71 years old. He ran out of money at 71 years old. And think about this too. Jill, do you ever think that you'd be 71 years old? Do you ever think you're about to be 81 years old?
I'm just struggling with the fact that I'm going to be 35 this year. So.
But think about it, because of that health, your focus on wellness and health, you're predisposed to live longer than had you not focused on it, right? And so many people today don't think that I'll run out of money. Well, you're going to run out of money. This guy is obviously living too long. And one thing that you saw at the beginning, he's taking pills, right? That healthcare costs and inflation of costs has eaten away at his savings. That's why he's burned through it. That's why he's working 5 days a week at Walmart. And so if you want to avoid this, you got to save early. You got to save often. You got to get clear. You can't depend on one source of income. If you've got a job, have a side hustle. That's why this is called the 7 Figure Squad podcast, because the things that you want to do, the things you want to enjoy, the place you want to go, the lifestyle you want to experience, guess what? Most likely down the road, in a short near future, is going to take 7 figures for you to do it. And making $1 million is not going to be a big deal for a lot of people. People thought making $100,000 was a big deal. At least you're making $100,000. People making $250,000 is a big deal. Now you're making $250,000. So, which leads me to my next point. This guy says, listen, if you want to make money, consider this job. I'm making $350K. I'm making some bones. Let's take a look at this dirty job of what this guy's talking about.
What do you do? I'm like, I'm a welder. And they're like, oh, okay. Like, I'm sorry. There's thousands of people all across the country that have got a very similar story as me. I dropped out of high school when I was 16 years old. My best year ever as an employee working by the hour, I made $352,000. You want to compare paychecks? Literally? Do you want to? Like, we can go there. We got to change just the way people think about blue collar. And that's the whole thing with the blue collar revolution. Change the hearts and minds, the rest will follow.
So this guy's leading a revolution called the blue collar revolution. You know, heavy equipment mechanics, 6 figures of income.
Yeah, they make good money. A lot of blue collar jobs.
Yeah, HVAC, welders.
Yeah. You know those porta potties?
Construction.
You know those porta potties? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I was offered a job coming out the Marine Corps to clean some shitters. Right? Very freaking, yeah, I got to drive a truck all day. We called it the shit sucker. Mm-hmm. Right? That's all you just go in there. That's your job. You know, deal with everybody.
Okay, but what did you have to wear?
I don't know. It was just a shitty job.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's paying 6 figures.
Yeah, I know.
Right?
But somebody's got to do it, and people don't want to do it. And I think a lot of people don't even realize the amount of money that you can make in blue collar jobs.
So as much as we talk about being your own boss and having your own business, hey, you know, you can weld, you can.
If I didn't do what I do now, I would do something blue collar.
What's a dirty job you would do? Would you be in like sanitation? Would you be in the sewers?
I don't know if I could do sewage, but
E. coli.
Yeah, I could do like something in food, something with food.
What's a dirty
like
job with food? Yeah.
I don't know.
No.
Who's the guy that hosts dirty jobs? Mike Rowe?
Yeah, Mike Rowe.
Mike Rowe, he hosts dirty. And so here's the thing though. These jobs, welders, sanitation, nasty things with food. When I was working mess duty in the military, one of the nastiest places to smell is the back of a cafeteria.
Oh,
you know, just all the food getting in, it's rotting and all different smells.
Okay,
and
maybe
stuff.
I changed my
But it pays 6 figures though.
Yeah.
Just wear wear a respirator.
Yeah,
something like that, right? And
put a little lavender on your mask.
Right, and protect yourself all the way down to your wrists and wear gloves. But here's the thing: if you say, "Listen, I don't want to learn a business, but I want a regular job," we'll consider a dirty job. But here's the thing: it's only as good as your body can handle. If this guy can't weld anymore, if the guy can't deal with sanitation anymore, you catch something because you're dealing with other people's excrement and piss and all that stuff. It's only good as your body can handle. You might catch something. And what we discovered last week is that even if you have a job, this guy's making $352,000 as an employee. If he's not married, doesn't have kids, he doesn't have a house, guess what? Majority of his income is gone to income taxes. So as an employee, remember the first thing they take out of your check is taxes, and the last thing you do is take taxes. And so, speaking of other things that can take money away from you, Jill, have you ever lent money to family?
Lent money
to family?
Not to family, but to friends.
Okay. Would you lend money to friends?
Yes.
Do you expect it to be paid back?
You know, if I have the
your
ability
friends
to
are watching
give,
right now.
maybe I should be careful of my answer. But I am very much so a giver, and I mean, obviously, I'm not just going to give away money and to someone who's not doing something for the greater good with it and growth. But yeah, if there's situations,
someone's got a habit, someone's got an addiction, someone's got an alcoholic, they're the drugs, and they're like, "No, I'm Scratch and Jill. You're my friend. We've known each other."
Yeah, no, that's a no.
I'm having a hard time. I'm going through whatever.
Well, I wouldn't want to contribute to something that is, going to be negative in there. I'm all about being there for my friends and my family, and I want to make a positive impact on them to grow. Yeah. And however I can best do that, if that means that I needed to step in financially to help to get them to grow.
But you feel you have a responsibility to ask them, how are you going to spend his money? Is that what you're saying? Like
if there was concern, if someone came up to me and was like, "Hey, can I borrow, $1,000?" Like, that's not just chump
Okay.
change. Like, what are you doing with that? Of course
Gotcha.
I would want to know.
Oh, so
but-
there's levels to it. If it's
Yeah.
$100, would you even ask?
Yeah, I think I mean, yeah,
Okay.
I would.
What about you?
It's happened already multiple times. and there's
Because you're
not-
big baller shot caller
and
now.
there's not one person that's paid me back in the last 2 years. But it's okay. I mean, by this time, if I give it to you, I know you're not going to give it back to me.
Okay.
So we're there now.
So everybody, on your rise, let's take a look at what Tyler Perry says about making money and blending it, giving it to family. Let's take a look at this clip.
First year I made money, I went from being dead broke. I was 28 years old. I made $130,000. I was like, oh my God, $130,000. Got to the end of the year, had nothing to pay my taxes because I'd given it all away.
Wow.
I had so much guilt that I'd given it to all family, all friends. Next year, I think I made $1.5 million. Same thing happened again. Next year, I made $7 million. Same thing happened again. Because I had so much guilt because I had, and I think this is something that we as Black people carry because of what we've been through. And when you have, you think, oh my God, I need to bring everybody else up with me. That's a beautiful thought, but in the beginning, that's bullshit. Take that out of your mind, because I'm gonna tell you right now, if you have a boat that can help you get from this place to that place so that you can get a bigger boat and you can only take 2 or 3 people, don't let everybody on that boat.
Yeah. So here's my three rules of friends and family. Number 1, I never lend. I just give. You ask me for $1,000, I'll give you $100. You ask me $1,000, I might give you $50. You ask me $1,000, I might give you $200 because that's what I'm willing to lose. If you don't pay me back $100, you don't pay me back $200, I won't feel it. If you don't pay me back $1,000, I'll feel it. Even now, you know, because it's
Right, yeah.
it's tough to earn money. Number 2, if you really want to borrow from me, now propose to me a business plan. You want me to partner with you? What you got? Barbershop, nail salon. My daughter, Papi, I want to be an esthetician. Right? I'll partner with you. No problem. I'll help you with the school. I'll help you with the expenses. Why? Because I'm partnering with you. My son wants to open a barbershop. My son wants to do some training. He wants to work together with you. I said, listen, Milton's probably going to require you to have some fitness designations. I want you to learn some things. I'll partner with you because if you work with him, let's get you with the NASM certification, whatever you want, right?
Yeah.
We'll get it done. And third one here, thing too as well. Once you start making money, make a family announcement. Hey, I'm gonna be making money, and here's
shit.
here's how we're gonna go about with your expectations with me and mine. I can't tell you countless athletes upon athletes. Fat Joe, he went on record and said, listen, I had 2 private jets to take my entourage everywhere. And then I made an announcement, hey, everybody, I can't pay you. I'm dead broke. And you can either stick with me until I get through this thing, or you can take off. And guess what? Majority of the people took off. And the ones that stuck behind, guess what he gave? He gave them all Rolexes. Thank you for being my ride or die. And thank God that I made that announcement to see who's going to be sticking together with me. What's your final thoughts on that?
Bro, I'm to this day I'm still struggling, and to this day I get messages and calls.
Struggling with lending money to family.
Of course, to this day, man, to this day, and it's being the older person in the family when it comes down, from the oldest male aside from the most elderly one who's already retired. There's an expectation of you having to lead the way. There's an expectation of helping them get out of their debt. There's an expectation of being able to house people and to pay off debts and to assist when asked, because you're the one making money now, you're the one who's in the position that could really help us get out of this hole. We're barely making it by, so it's only expected that as a Hispanic community you're supposed to help each other up. So that's still a struggle to this day, and I'm still trying to figure it out, honestly.
Milton, you got some topics on your end on the health and fitness side.
Yes, and it's a hybrid of me and Joe.
Now let's do it. All right. What you got to say on the health and fitness side of things? Because we're about faith, family, finance, fitness, and fun, baby. Let's go. And then football.
Yeah.
Minnesota Vikings are doing pretty well.
Hey, it's the comeback season, baby.
Mad respect for Kirk Cousins.
Did you watch the quarterback?
Yeah. Love him.
Love him.
Yeah.
Just his dedication to the sport, but also to his faith.
He's a believer. Yeah.
Like
big time
that
believer.
is, that's going to take him far.
Even when he was at Washington, he advocated against the anti-human human trafficking. He wore those shoes. Because
he's
he
just
believed
a solid human.
Yeah, 100%. Yep.
So Joe, I know for a while you were advocating what stress does to the human body and how it affects your gut health. I have a video here of Dr. Joe Dispenza speaking about what stress does to your body and what it does to your gut health. But there's also a video of an actual transformation video of you went from this to that, the moment you learn how to take care of your gut health, learn how to use food to your advantage, and when you knew how to actually regulate your stress. And I think here in America, in the world actually, that's something that as adults we just don't know how to really navigate
Chill.
around. And yeah, exactly. I guess
We
in layman's
don't know
terms,
how to
to chill. We don't know how to chill. So, Jordan, if we can pull up the Joe Dispenza video, the impact of stress on gut health.
Have the best diet. You could eat gluten-free, vegan, ketogenic, intermittent fasting with a little macrobiotics on the side, organic, all of that. Take all your vitamins, take all your supplements, all your herbs, drink your teas, do all of that. You could work out, you could run, you could do Pilates, you could do yoga, what doesn't matter. But if you haven't taken care of your responses to everyone and everything in your life, your cells, when you're living in fear and perfectionism and rigidity, the signal to the cell is there's a danger, there's a threat, and the cell is going to take the signal, and the cell is going to make a protein from a gene. You could actually wind up creating organic fear proteins. That's what you're making.
Fear
right? 'Cause
proteins?
The body still isn't in a place to rest.
got a
So
nature, man.
a person can't sleep. Now they can't sleep, they can't restore. They can't digest. There's an emergency out there. How can you digest if your body's perceiving that the next moment there's going to be danger?
So, Joe, while you're gathering your thoughts, if Jordan, if we can pull up her transformation video, so we can, really reinforce what she's going to say has worked for her.
3, 2,
Is you, Joe?
1. Bang.
Look at that, man.
You go, girl.
For knowing how to manage your stress, knowing how to take care of your gut health, and knowing how to put those two things together and create a lifestyle that has worked for you and obviously has worked for many women that you worked with, right? So for the people watching, men or women, what are some practical things, or tell us a little bit of how you did it and maybe some practical ways that people can start walking towards that journey of bettering their health when it comes to stress and gut?
Absolutely. I think that people don't even realize how much they are chronically stressed. When my clients come to me and they're like, I'm not making progress. Or I'm hitting a plateau or whatever. The first thing I ask them is, how's your mental health? Like, is there any stress? They're
So
like,
gut health and mental health.
Yeah.
Wow.
Absolutely. The brain is connected to the gut. I mean, all our systems are connected, but chronic stress can absolutely control the gut in ways and impact your gut and your digestion in many ways. Being not getting enough sleep, recovery, too much exercise. Too
much exercise?
Yes. Back when I first started my fitness journey, it was like more is more, like no days off. That was all the what was being pushed in the fitness industry. And you actually will find that if you're not resting and recovering, your body is actually suffering more, and it's going to be difficult it'll start to impact your hormones, which, even impacted hormones can impact your gut health.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of this stuff is just all intertwined. So
How can you tell if you have good gut health or bad gut health?
Essentially, are you pooping every day?
Oh, okay, no shit.
Yeah, absolutely. I always say, good poop's good mood.
What happens? You're like,
Yeah, it's not good.
That's good? That's good?
No, not good. I mean, if you're like bloated or inflamed, just bathroom schedules off.
So when you take a
that.
dump, should you just like naturally like, bloop?
It should be a log looking.
A log looking.
Yeah,
Gotcha. Con
that's a
elotes.
healthy poop. I know people may think that that's TMI, but it's important, honestly. Like, you should be.
She just slide out. She just slide out?
That's like detoxification process. I mean, it doesn't, you don't want it to be like too loose, but yeah, just like a solid formed.
Should it be a bunch of pebbles?
No.
No. Okay.
No.
No joking.
No.
Not like rabbits.
No.
So what are a couple things, maybe like two or three things people can do to start their journey on improving their gut health under stress, whether it's supplements, daily activities, a routine they can do in the morning?
Right. I think something that drives stress for a lot of people too is sitting on their phones all day on social media. So having like boundaries with that before bed and even first thing in the morning, like how you start your morning is how you are going to do your day.
Right.
And so I think it's really important to, when you wake up, set those intentions. I like to go for a walk. Getting sunshine in the morning is a phenomenal thing for your body.
D, huh? Yeah.
Vitamin D, getting in nature, but just really focusing in and creating those pathways of a stress-free day to start will better help you impact the rest of your day. Prioritizing whole foods is going to not only give you macronutrients and micronutrients, but it's going to help you.
How do you know
feel
something's
better.
a whole food? Not the grocery store, but how do you know something's a whole food?
So it's just basically not processed. So that's going to be like fruit,
we were talking about that the other day, about processed
meat, eggs. These are
Eggs are
typically on
processed
the
food?
outside, unprocessed.
Unprocessed. How do you make sure an egg's because I'm Filipino, I eat a lot of eggs.
Pasteurized eggs are typically, don't quote me on this, but the research that I have done is pasture raised chickens. Like those eggs are going to have the most nutrients. You can usually see it in the yolk too. They'll be like a darker color.
Speaking about food, and this is either going to be processed and unprocessed foods, but I'm a big, I reinforce the whole make food tasty again.
Yes.
And I was stalking your social media a little bit, and I came across a video that made me want to know how you come up with your recipes, and it made me want to know, is this actually healthy? So Jordan, if we can pull up the video of make food tasty
Jill.
again.
Cook us up something. Oh, yeah, that's it. I love a bunch of snacks. I love it already. Yes, yes. Chocolate. Yes. Sugar. Yes.
If I had it in my home, I would eat healthy every day.
I'd be there every day, baby.
Every
Let's
day,
go,
man.
Jill.
Well,
Come
the
to the
best
house right
part
now.
is they're protein packed
That's
too.
protein. See, bro, I told you, cookies, the Milano cookies
protein
that come
Her
in.
cookies, not Chips Ahoy.
Okay.
Man. Not Chips Ahoy, brother.
Ahoy,
It's a
mate.
big difference.
Ahoy, mate.
So there's always been a misconception, right? That food needs to be boring, chicken and broccoli, chicken and green beans, and just
Breast
no
chicken
seasoning,
and asparagus.
no seasoning. But from what I saw a pizza on there. I saw some really delicious food
I saw
on there.
cookies.
Sugar. He's a big sugar guy.
Yeah.
So, how have you been inspired to come up with these recipes? And if there is a place that people can find them, where can we find these recipes so we can start doing this?
So I have like all these recipes on my Instagram. So definitely head over to that page.
Cool.
But honestly, when I started my journey, all I would think about is, the food that I was eating and the food that I was craving that like is ultra processed. And I was like, how can I recreate a similar thing with healthier ingredients? So
Like what sauce? Like spaghetti?
no, there's this dip from Target. It's a queso dip, and they also have a buffalo dip, and it's actually like all whole food ingredients.
Yeah.
But it's like, when you go to a restaurant and you get like onion rings or a burger and they serve it with this sauce and you're like, what the heck is
On the
that?
side of
I
the
don't know,
plastic
but
bag,
it's bomb,
Yeah.
Got
Got a bunch of sucralose in there. Much like
No, it didn't. Well, the one that I have doesn't.
Gotcha.
But,
Gotcha.
no, just like doing different research and finding what works works to spice it up. It doesn't have to be boring. You don't have to eat rice, chicken, and broccoli. Like I have steak every day.
Okay, so I'm a red meat eater too as well. I eat a bunch of stuff. I don't eat a lot of vegetables, but I'm thinking about gut health. I'm thinking about fiber. I'm thinking about vegetables, which I don't eat a lot of. So is there some simple foods that we can, things we can buy right away to start improving
really
gut health?
good for gut health?
Tell me.
Fermented foods. So
Like what,
like
cottage cheese?
sauerkraut and cottage cheese.
Ah.
Yeah, sourdough bread.
Hot dogs and sauerkraut, bro. No?
Let's do it.
Sauerkraut, I literally throw a little pickle juice in your sauerkraut.
Yeah.
Pickle
and
juice.
It actually, it makes it really good.
Who's got a pimp juice? Pickle juice. Pickle juice. I got you.
What are your thoughts on kombucha?
Kombucha.
Smells
You know
like
what, I
butt crack.
really-
That's what it smells like.
I haven't really looked into it or
Kombucha?
drinking it myself. I know it's very trendy.
Yeah.
But
I like the one with the
just do
chia
my
seeds in it.
sauerkraut every day. I do chia seeds.
Chia seeds.
Yeah.
Tell me real quick why chia seeds is a superfood.
It has a lot of different minerals and
These little things?
The
The
main
little chia seeds, wow.
The main reason, honestly, that I currently incorporate chia seeds is it can kind of help with your bathroom schedule too.
Gut health. Back to gut health. Gotcha. So,
Yeah.
okay, if I'm making a shake, how much of a chia seed should I use? Because it's so small, but I see those.
You can
expands.
make it into a jelly. That's what I actually do.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, I microwave blueberries and then I put a tablespoon in and you let it sit for a little bit and it turns into like your own homemade jelly without the added sugars. Okay, there's a tip right there. Throw it on some sourdough toast.
Jill, can I make a request? When you go home, your next post is how to make chia jelly. And then we'll reshare it here on the podcast.
I'll do it tonight on my story, and I'll take
you?
it.
Perfect.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're shared. I'm so.
I have it every day, so
I'm so curious.
Yeah.
I'm so curious.
I got you.
I love this. We need to protect this woman. By the way, I would love to know your opinion about this woman here.
Okay.
Okay. So,
let's see.
Jordan, let's take a clip. Look at this clip about this woman that's talking about what type of woman she projects to be in her life.
How would you cater to me?
If you were my husband?
When I'm your husband.
Every way possible.
When?
There wouldn't be a second I wouldn't cater to you.
I'd be fat as
You would be. You could wake up at 3 in the morning and ask me to make you food, and I will get out of bed and I will make you food.
Really?
There is nothing I wouldn't do.
Really?
Nah.
Because you are my partner.
Okay.
And I am the woman.
Right.
I wouldn't ask you
What
to
about
clean.
other food?
I wouldn't ask you to cook.
You know what I mean?
I wouldn't ask you for anything domesticated because that is my part as a woman, me personally, how I believe before anyone starts sending.
Which would mean my part would be for you.
To provide and protect.
I love
you
it.
provide, you look after the household, you make sure I'm
I
safe
agree.
always, you make sure the children are safe always, and I will make sure you don't have to worry about anything else.
I don't know, man. That seems kind of orchestrated. I think that's such a popular thing to say for men to say, I'm going to provide for you, and for women to say, I'm going to cater to you. It just seems so freaking orchestrated to me. What's going to happen when you're upset?
You come BS. You come BS on
What are you going to do when you're upset at him?
3 o'clock in the morning, get up, make me a sandwich.
And she's upset.
Yeah.
No.
Is that
no
reality?
way. There's no way. There's no way. I mean, you're a woman.
Yeah.
Right? You are a woman, right? You identify as a woman.
Yes.
Okay, so
Two.
what
Making sure.
Jill, tell me, what would make a woman do that? Regardless of good times or bad times, what would make a woman jump out of bed 3 o'clock in the morning and make their husband a sandwich?
I mean, honestly, I think it's
gotta be beyond
about
whooped.
teamwork, though. Honestly, like I agree. When you look from a biblical standpoint, there is like more of like the wife being more submissive and the husband being more protective and stuff. But honestly, I think having mutual respect for each other and each other's needs is important. So when someone else is taken care of, I know for me personally, when someone else is taken care of, I feel good too. Like that when you're happy, like that helps contribute to my happiness too. But at the same time, it's a team. I think in relationships, it's very much a team and very much like you both have to show up for each other and communicate to each other your expectations too, right? Like what role you want to take and how you can share the loads together. So, I think it's definitely like an equal thing.
I told my wife, I said, you carried this boy for 9 months, right? And you're breastfeeding and doing all this thing. If that boy cries in the middle of the night, I'm the one picking him up. You stay, you get as much sleep as you can. I'm picking him up. And I tell you this, to this day, there's a bond between my son and I that is incredible. Like he there's a certain way he just expects for me to be there at the middle of the night. But the kid doesn't sleep throughout the night. He'll wake up at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, wake up at 4 o'clock and think everybody should be up too. But I told my wife, if you carried that baby in 9 months, I got you on that. But I don't expect anything in return, though. It
takes a village to raise a kid, so she needs that support.
Absolutely, good. So I'm just when I see these type of videos and the concept sounds good, I'm just wondering, okay, the first argument, the first time you have a conflict, what's going to happen to that premise?
Right.
You know?
It's like he said. I think it sounds a little over the top, you know, like, and good. But at the same time, I mean, you react in live time to situations. It's more about having good communication to be able to work through different things and make sure that you're both feeling valued in the relationship, no matter what role you have.
Okay. I need to ask your opinion. The next clip I want to share is this type of man attractive? Would a woman find this type of man attractive? Let's take a look at this clip here because this guy's rolling.
I just sit there in the club, Maria, and I get so many girls because I just like pretending I'm on my phone. And like they think I'm looking at my bank account, right? So I'm just sitting there like this and I just mind my own business and they flock.
That's how much money you have?
Well, you'd think that, right? But this is actually my student loan balance.
Hey, it's not what the guy's at, is where he's going, right? But what a funny thing. He thought he was flexing his bank account. So, but that's the reality with a lot of women today. I mean, you'll go back I mean, let's say you're graduating college today. You know, the guy trying to provide and protect. He's got $2 million of debt. Let's just say half of that, $1 million of debt. Let's say half of that, $500,000 of debt. How is a man today supposed to express how he can provide and protect? And he's broke as a joke, and he's got more in debt than he has net worth.
I mean, I think right away it starts with taking accountability. Like there's no shame in that, but if you don't do anything about it, I mean, that's where you get stuck and stagnant. Like we all get in situations where, you know, we spent too much and we didn't realize it, but then it's learning from it, and then how can we move forward? I mean, the best way to prove yourself to someone is through action. So, I mean, maybe that probably might be a deal breaker for a lot of people at first, you know, like, but also if that person can turn it around. I mean, there's countless examples of people turning around their finances, and people who have started from nothing and turned it into something. So I think the biggest thing is going to be action. I'm personally not a money chaser, I guess. So in the reverse, like if someone were to pull up their thing and be like, oh, I'm flashy, I got $2 million, that wouldn't make me necessarily be drawn to them as a person or in a friendship or anything.
Protect this woman.
But
protect this woman.
That's
protect
just
Jill.
me. I mean,
protect not that woman. Protect you.
Yeah.
You have a thought on a relationship between what a
man won't marry you without a purpose. Right?
Yeah.
A man. A lot of boys do. A lot of boys know how to waste people's times, which is why in many relationships when my buddies are considering moving into a relationship with somebody, one of the things that I first, challenge them on is like, have you asked all the right questions, right? And there's a lot of questions you can ask, and there's a lot of conversation you need to have with that person up front within the first couple of weeks, within the first month, 2 months, whatever the case may be. But just don't drag it out. Wait for the 6th, 7th month for you to be like, you know what, this isn't working out, or after a year or 2 years. Don't waste a woman's time. Right. But it takes a man of direction and clarity on what it is that he wants to be able to do that. And sometimes it can be really, really hard. I mean, you and Sheena did that one of your first dates. You guys sat down and literally put everything on the table.
Yeah. I put my stuff on the table.
Yeah.
I put it, I mean, Jill, I put all my dirty laundry because we're in 6 months in our relationship, and I think it was going somewhere. And I'm like, man, I hope she doesn't judge me for this, but she also needs to know because she's dealing with a guy right now that's currently broke. I know where I'm going. I wasn't always here, but the whole rags to riches. Well, I was from riches back to rags. Based on some misjudgments I had in my life when I met my wife. But I know how to make it back. But at the time I was going through some major drama. But summarize for those that watch podcasts, they've heard this many times. But I don't know if you haven't. But I told babe, here's all my drama. Here's all my stuff. I'm going to family court. I'm in custody battles. Here's how much I am in debt. I'm not where I'm at from a revenue standpoint. Damn, I just hope you don't leave me right now, but this is my shit, right? She's like, and I'm thinking she is. And she goes, was that it? I'm like, yeah, you don't think that's a lot? She goes, nah, we can work with this.
Well, and now you guys have, because you were vulnerable and honest and open about that, you can work as a team together to go forward, you know? Yeah. It's hard to be vulnerable in relationships, but at the end of the day, especially if you're getting married or to her, like you want someone who's going to be with you through all the trials, and oftentimes your biggest trials can actually set you forward to your biggest triumphs in the future. So
because what goes down in the back of a man's goes going in my head, how many other options does she have?
Yeah.
Because for example, I was talking to a guy in sports, he's doing NIL deals. He goes, the thing with NIL deals, the name, image, and likeness for college players. They can make money now on a college platform. And he goes, a lot of the male players will get a lot of deals. But the thing is, more women are followed on social media than men. So the women in college, they're getting these NIL deals because they want them to promote, a dealership wants them to promote their car or whatever the case may be. So they pay a woman a lot of money while they're in college, more than it would a man playing quarterback.
Right.
So it's different. It's a different teeter-totter when it comes to where it comes to that. So
I want to get that
want to share the video?
That video.
Check the video.
Pull it up, Jordan.
A man will not marry somebody he's cool with. He's not going to marry somebody that he likes. Just because I like you don't mean I'm going to marry you. You will not impress him with your looks. Your looks will get him to look, but afterwards he'll look the other way. Because as good as you think you look, there's another lady that looks just as good as you, if not better. Have you ever noticed that there are men who will marry a woman that looks less good because the true beauty in who she is the fact that she challenges him to be a better person? You see, there's not one man in here who will marry a woman just because she looked good and just because she got a nice smile, just because, that's not why he's marrying you. He's marrying you because one day he sat on a bed and he said, this woman makes me want to do something real. This woman makes me want to have kids. This woman makes me want to have a business, have a job, get my money right, get it together. That's what relationship is all about. You see, relationship is not friendship. Friendship is just courting, but relationship is partnership.
You guys being married, what are your thoughts on that? You guys being married?
Well, my first marriage is all freaking just physical. Yeah. I was 21 years old, bro. I was 21 years old. I was 21 years old when I married her. I was 22 years old when I divorced her. It was just bad. It was off now, but I committed myself to being a single dad. 14 years later, of course. By the way, in my mind, she was freaking hot as shit. That's my wife. I mean, that's my boo boo, right? It's like, do I see when it's funny? I go on Instagram and babe, I want to show you this person on Instagram. I'll go to the what's that microphone? That microscope, whatever that button is. And right away, there's like 18 butt cracks looking at me. Right? Like, what the hell is this? Like, what are you looking at? Like, babe, I'm sorry, that's the damn algorithm. Yeah. I'm a dude, and Instagram thinks I'm going to look at that stuff, but I'm just looking for this guy's profile. But that's the challenge today about being a single man. Yes, you're just so racked with so many different images in your head, and if you're not clear on what you're looking for, you are so confused. You are so distracted. So you got to be very clear. And the woman that. Yeah, and then do you lock on to her? Do you lock on to her, not just on her looks, but the way she, like what he just said, she made me get on the phone with her till 1 to 3 o'clock in the morning, bro. I'm talking to her about the vision I have for our family, the vision we have for our kids, the vision I have for our faith, right? To the point where I had to recharge my phone while I'm talking to her at 1 o'clock in the morning. And then I'm like, okay, babe, it's 3 o'clock in the morning, I gotta go. You gotta go. You gotta work in the morning. So do I. It's just, okay, will you hang up? No, you hang up. No, you hang up. I don't want to hang up. No, you hang up. I tell you what, just put it on speakerphone and let me just hear you breathe. So fall asleep. But that's what Sheena made me do.
As a married man, because obviously, there are women out there that can genuinely come from a good intention to try to challenge their partner. Mm-hmm. But a lot of times, ego gets in the way. And because ego gets in the way, a lot of men take insult to the woman trying to challenge them to make them better. Mm-hmm. What would you say are a couple ways that, from a married man's perspective, that a woman can challenge a man and that message come across as a positive challenge and not as an insult slap in the face?
The moment Sheena comes to me and said, baby, I don't need to do shit. Right away, I'm out. That language to me, I got one boss and it's not you.
Yeah.
But when she does, she approaches me, hey, babe, what do you think about?
So suggesting.
Yeah, and the tone.
I actually recently started implementing that too. How would you feel about rather than
perfect?
Can you do this or will you do this?
No.
And it's actually been so
excellent.
It just comes off more warm and we're doing a decision together rather than attacking to you.
Correct, because a man will take that as an attack.
I've used that at home, in my marriage,
high fives
and
from across
also
the table.
even in friendships too, and business relationships. And it's so much better received by people.
Yeah, man to man, like you tell me in the gym, do this, do that. But that's not the way. I will never take that type of feedback from my wife.
Yeah, that's your intimate partner. That's your safe space.
Or from my mom.
Your mom.
Or from my sister.
Yeah.
Right? That's just, I don't know, this way I'm wired. I don't think it's chauvinistic. It's just the way I'm wired, man. Like I'm supposed to, I'm the leader, and the way you're trying to tell me what to do, just like you're challenging my integrity. I'm not working hard enough. These different things come into the mix. Yeah.
It can make you feel like what you're doing isn't good enough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Ladies, take notes.
Yeah. That's why changing that language can, especially because us as females or whoever uses that language, we are absolutely not meaning to make you feel devalued or like you aren't good enough. But because you're perceiving it that way, like it's just two different styles of communication. And so if you can learn how to reword it so that you both are receiving the same, because you're both trying to do the same message.
And vice versa too with men. Mm-hmm. We have to approach our wives too with grace and kindness, and which is something I had to work on. Come out the military, just the way I am. But sometimes she's like this. I'm like, what do you, babe, just this. Oh, all right, but damn, am I really that? Oh shit, what an asshole I am. So I take a step back. Once you take a quick walk, we'll come back, we'll recircle this. And I realized, you and I, bro, we're like the thermos mug. right? You can throw us in a construction site and we'll still keep our coffee warm and we'll take some dents here on the side and we'll be all right.
Yeah.
A woman, not the same way. She's like a China tea set.
It's like you need like a specific, well-revised, scientific formula created by Einstein to be able to get a message across to a woman without
good luck, bro.
Messages.
Good luck. I think that formula's still out there.
I still believe, and this is my belief. To this day, I still believe men think in straight lines and women think in circles.
Of course.
Oh yeah,
Completely.
We're overthinkers.
Tell me that formula, bro. That'd be 18th wonder of the world, man. You have fear for your life because the government trying
Not
to
married yet, no kids, man. I still have some time to figure it out.
Oh boy. Speaking of a husband and wife, the whole movement about working from home, so therefore they can have more family time. But here's a downside to this. This is Ken Griffin, CEO Citadel, the richest man in Chicago, who just left Chicago to relocate to Miami. Here's what he said about working from home.
It's been really hard to hire people. And as such, your large companies have been very reticent to let people go no matter what the circumstances are. So even if margins are contracting, even if you have gains from automation, people have been very reticent to let people go. Now we're starting to see for the first time the unwinding of that labor hoarding. What we don't know is how much of that labor hoarding has taken place. And then what worries me in a hybrid work environment or work from home environment, the cultural or social contract that holds people together in a company is unquestionably weaker. I mean, we've all read about companies that have fired thousands of people on Zoom calls. There's no sense of, that's Jane who's worked down the hall with me for years,
right,
and I'm going to go the extra distance to try to keep Jane employed here. It's like, here's the email to all, here's the video conference with a bunch of people, and goodbye. It's a very different moment in American employment history where I believe the bond between the company and the employee has become far weaker. And that worries me in terms of the willingness of corporate America to make cuts on their workforce that they just wouldn't have made at other similar points in the labor market cycle.
All right, so here's the thing as we wrap up the show. We're looking at a recession in our country, very, very bad looking recession, which means that jobs are about to go. So if you think you're comfortable and safe with your secure job and you haven't created a side hustle, you haven't created a business, this might be the situation where if you depend on one income, he or she that controls your income, controls your life, controls the decisions you make in your life because they control your income. So if you're thinking that I can get away with this working from home, a hybrid work environment, I just work from the beach or work from whatever case, and you're working for somebody versus working for yourself, corporate America, this is a signal right now. This is a warning. Corporate America is telling you, if we don't see you, out of sight, out of mind. That's why, Jill, long distance relationship, did they work, did they not work, in your opinion? Long distance relationships.
I think it depends on the individuals. I mean, my husband was in the military and he would...
Was he? No kidding.
Yeah.
Nice.
Air Force. Yep. And I think the longest that we were apart was like 9 months or something at some point.
He was deployed?
That was when he was in basic and then tech school and stuff. And then he did, right after he got out of the fire academy, he had to go down for 4 months to Texas. And that was like right after we bought our first house. And I mean,
but you knew each other beforehand.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, no. Yeah.
Okay.
So he joined the military after we were already like in a relationship. And
so if you just met somebody, you're in Minnesota and they're in Florida, you never had a physical meeting together.
Yeah.
It would be hard to have that long distance relationship if it's just a person on Instagram.
Well, I think also these days, like people can fake who they are.
You can be catfished.
So it's like, you can be catfished. So I don't know. I think relationships, there is no black and white. You know, what works for one couple might not work for another. And everyone has different traumas and communication styles. And so every single couple is going to have different ebbs and flows. For me, I think that would be very difficult to like meet, like
be someone
that's sustainable.
to never be. But I don't know. I think it just totally depends on the relationship and the people. And
even though you're physically apart, you have to have a plan to be together.
The plan would obviously not to be always apart for life, and that I don't think most people would want to do that.
No, not at all.
But I definitely think it's up depends
Yeah.
on the individual. But I know from us, like when he was gone with military and stuff, like you make it work.
Yep, absolutely.
That's right. You make it work.
Last thing I want to report on here before you wrap up the show, we've been covering the class action lawsuit of the National Association of Realtors and 3 different brokerages of colluding to increase commissions. And for the very first time ever, many people believe that the way real estate agents and professionals are making money will change forever. So, Jordan, if we can take a look at my screen, here's from the Wall Street Journal. Here, a court verdict last month stands to radically alter the way real estate agents are paid for work and can result in far lower pay for the 1.6 million men and women who sell homes as their main job or as a side hustle. Realtors are already facing the effects of rising interest rates, which have put a chill on inventory and have bring home sales to the lowest in years. Nicole, a 51-year-old acupuncturist, got her license in 2020 when the pandemic shut. High-touch business like hers, and home sales were taken off. But now, Nicole Collins says lower commissions from the homes she sells in Florida, which are priced between $100,000 and $350,000, wouldn't be worth her time, especially now the business at her acupuncture studio is back to pre-COVID levels. So if you're in real estate, if you're out there, this is, again, writing on the wall. Large part about wealth building is anticipation. Do I say real estate agents aren't going to be around forever? I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is you have to be expecting to be paid less than what you used to be paying for. And sadly, I love seeing real estate agents make commissions, but now it looks like the buyer broker is not going to be compensated as much from the seller. So therefore, people are going to be resulting to a lot more technology. Companies like Zillow and Redfin are going to be more and more apparent in the real estate market. So if you're looking for a way to transition or add a different service to what you're doing, that's why you stay posted to the 7-Figure Squad podcast. So therefore, you can find a different way for you to include into your real estate practice if that's what you want to stay in, or completely laterally move altogether into another industry, which allows you to still use the relationship you built in your community. So that being said, as we wrap up the show, Jill, final thoughts here as we wrap up. You've just been a great guest here on the show, on the podcast here, episode 4 or 5. Any final thoughts here for our viewers before we let you go?
Thank you for having me.
For sure.
I guess I really just want to encourage everyone that no matter what season you are at in your life, just know that it won't be forever. And through discipline and continuing to show up each day, you'll get to the other side and it'll be worth it. So just remember to take it one day at a time and stay present in the journey.
By the way, from your Instagram, you look like you got baptized recently.
Yes, I did.
Really?
Changed my life.
Praise the Lord. How come your
life.
faith has changed your life?
What was that?
How come? What ways? If there's one way that your faith, being baptized, has changed your life,
I was in a very, very low place, and sometimes you don't realize that Jesus is real until that's all you have.
Yeah. Amen.
The day that I got baptized, it was like in this swamp like it was gross.
Yeah.
But when I went under that water, it felt like the freshest, clearest, blue crystal clear water that I've ever had. And that was a God moment for me. I call those God moments where things were just like, that was God. And there's been my life has just changed drastically and continues to. Right. And I'm just so blessed to be on this journey.
Well, praise God. There it is. Let the heavens rejoice.
Amen.
Daughter has returned. Milton, your final thoughts, brother.
3 things. Stay informed, stay vigilant, and stay inspired, guys. Literally the only 3 things I have for you guys.
Yeah.
This is a good show.
Love that.
Thank you for coming on the show.
Absolutely.
Appreciate you.
Absolutely, guys. Remember, happiness is not about what you get. Happiness is about what you become. And a job is not what you're getting paid. It's about the experience that you are in terms of attaining and how you're developing and evolving as a human being. Because my saving grace was having a job before I started my business. Thank God for a job, because I was able to learn on somebody else's dime, learn some experiences. For those of you in that position, embrace your job for what it can not pay you, but what it can teach you. So therefore, it allows you to get to the next step of your life, and you're going to recruit the things that you need to be successful in your decisions thereafter. So that being said, thanks for tuning into the 7-Figure Squad Goals podcast. We'll hear next Wednesday, 12 o'clock Central Standard Time. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe, hit like, drop your comments below. You agree with us? You don't agree with us? Please put it in the comment section below. Jill, appreciate you joining us here all the way from Minnesota.
Let's
always see at the gym later on today.
I'll see you,
okay.
baby.
That being said, guys, appreciate you tuning in. For Dallas, Texas, on behalf of Jill, Milton, I'm your money smart guy. Until we meet again, continue to live smart, continue to love smart, and be money smart today. See you next week. Bye-bye.